it's that. So I help moms who are, feeling overwhelmed, numbness, get mom guilt, who just have kind of lost themselves in motherhood.
Yeah.
And bring them back to themselves and who they truly are and what is important to them, so that they can live more fully for themselves and their families.
I want to welcome Chrissy Doolen to this interview. What I love about her is that she's recently recommitted to earning an income for her family again. And I'm going to let her tell her story to you, but you can find her at fifthelementwellness.com, and you'll get to know her throughout this interview. So amazing. So thank you, Chrissy, for being here with me today. This is awesome for you to agree to do this. I want to just kind of start. I'm going to ask you to talk about your business right away, but what I want to have people understand is, where were you prior to your existing business? Like, what were some of the things that were going on for you, and then we'll kind of lead into what helped you make the decision to recommit and to create your business for yourself.
So I was just sort of, like, I guess, half-assing my network marketing business, and I really wanted to help people, and I was not doing it in a way that felt good to me. It wasn't effective for other people. It wasn't drawing people to me. And those people that did want to work with me, they still, I needed something else to help them realize that the changes they needed to make were really important to them and why they were important to them. I didn't have a tool for that. I was just like, here are these great things that you can do for yourself. And their commitment wasn't enough for them to make those lasting changes. And then I wasn't doing it in a way that felt good to me. It was always just too much. I don't want to say too much effort, but there wasn't ease, right? There wasn't, it just felt like it wasn't me. But I felt like I needed to do it because I wanted to earn extra income for my family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I actually came to it in a way that I wanted to be of service to the people that were around me and to help them create lasting change. So I came across the process and I was like, I think I need to offer this to other people. Mm-hmm. But I hadn't been through it for myself. So I was like, well, I need to do it myself in order to know what the heck I'm teaching. I know these testimonials say these people got this out of it, but what is it for me? So I tried to do it on my own. I was unsuccessful in that because I need a little accountability in my life. And so I hired a mentor, I hired a facilitator, and she took me through the process. And when I was done, I just felt like this laser beam compass, this path laid out right in front of me, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. I have my core desired feelings, and I know how I need to go about things to help me feel good, to help me feel productive, to know what I needed to do, and do it in a way that was right for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. The fitting it into you and not trying to fit into some other thing, right? Mm-hmm. And having your business or having your life fit for you and not having to, be that square peg trying to fit in a round hole, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what was the moment that was there a particular moment that a decision was really made for you when it came to to moving forward, or that maybe that wake up call, or was there a particular moment that things just weren't working for you? Like what was it?
There probably wasn't just a moment. There were just like probably just little clues for me. And just knowing like what I was doing, I feel like that I was supposed to be doing it, but the way in which I was doing it wasn't right, or working for me.
Yeah. I really feel like that's an important piece that a lot of women, or entrepreneurs, I shouldn't say women, entrepreneurs miss, is like the how you do the business. Is probably more important in terms of like the what, right? And then of course, there's your why, right? Which I think helps you sustain, but the how, and I think the how also helps with the sustainability of your business as well, so that you can pick things that you can do long term, and that you're not like stopping and starting because things just don't feel right, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. So what are some of the things that you learned along the way as you were launching your business?
That just because you say you do something really cool that people know about and can resonate with, doesn't mean that they're ready for it.
Yeah.
Or that they will just trust you and want to like do it too. Mm-hmm. Like I always want to say, because I like to be a resource for people. And I always think like, I'm giving you great resources. You got to like go out and do these things, right? And try these things because they're amazing. But I need to like still like teach people and build their understanding of why they would need that in their life.
Yeah.
And it can be a really emotional process. It can be a really taxing process. So getting people to understand that they are what they're in for, I found that that's important because I've led some women through it, and they were like, "This is like way more than I thought I was getting because they just kind of trusted me or another person that was bringing them to it, right? They were grateful for the experience, but they didn't realize like what they were sort of getting themselves into. And so, just explaining like why that's important and being consistent. I know I need to like write more and, blog more about my experience and my process. So just keeping, information flowing to people, keeping the process flowing. And so like I just shared yesterday like how I am incorporating one of my core desired feelings throughout the summer, and the things that I'm going to do that will help to invoke that aren't really, they're a little bit related to my business, but also like personally.
Yeah. And I don't know that there's really a difference, like, or like a complete separation, because one of the things that I talk about is, and I don't even know who said this, and I wish I could find the quote for this, but this is not the quote, by the way, but it's really like, show up and shine as who you are, and you will attract the results that you want. So show up and shine as who you are, and you will attract the results that you really want, and not the ones that you don't want, right? And I think it's that being in alignment, like, and just being really who you really are. Like I don't know how else I can explain it, but I feel like that is such a truth that that we miss sometimes. How did you overcome, like in more implementation in practical terms, like some of the objections to people coming into your process and trusting you, and really just kind of launching your business? Because like you're kind of newer at your business, right? But you've relaunched, and I think you talked about you've already beta launched a process for yourself.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I did.
Yeah. So how did that go? Yeah.
You know what? I leaned on the people who trusted me, who were influencers.
Okay.
And the people who, you're hot your hot list, right? The people who, if you ask them to do something, they will like do it for you in a heartbeat, you know? So those people are the people that I kind of asked to do this with me.
Yeah.
And then, and those people were the people who really like put the time into it and really got the most out of it. And then, some of them brought along others with them. And some of them put their whole selves into it, and others were just kind of like, I didn't really, I wasn't super committed, but I did it kind of, or some people just totally didn't finish at all. So, to overcoming objections, I just, especially with the beta launch, because I did it so inexpensively. I was like, just try it. I mean, I'm like doing this basically for nothing. Just commit to it. Put a little skin in the game, and enough to be like, oh, I spent money on this. I'm gonna do it. And the results you will feel so amazing when you're done to reconnect to yourself. Who doesn't want, the people I know, the women I know are, devoted, to their business, to their mom, to their kids, to maybe they're retired, their husbands, their jobs, and, for them to, have that opportunity, I just was like, you gotta just take advantage of it. I might have shared a video or two, to help them, just sort of see a testimonial or two, share some of my, my experience with it, with them, and how I felt when I was done. The whole process is, different for everyone, because you can kind of pick and choose what you do, and what you focus on. So.
Yeah. And then, so following the beta launch, how's your business doing right now?
So what I did was right after that, I kind of shifted gears into my natural living mentor. And I have been building that side too.
Right.
So that's been my focus, the last few months, and it's actually been really amazing. And I integrate the two. So, my plan is to take the people who I meet through, the natural living side, and introduce a desire map to them to help them create those changes that they want to create in their lives. Yeah. I do have some people interested in a, like one-on-one work over the summer. So we'll get them started. And then I'm doing I'm part of a retreat in Arizona in September. So I'll be able to go down there and talk a little bit and meet women, like-minded women, and talk about my process with them.
Amazing. That sounds awesome. So let me ask you this. What if you didn't make this shift? What if you didn't come across that process? What if you weren't in a position where you're like recommitting to earn an income for your family? Like, where would you be? What would your life look like if you didn't do this?
I'd probably have a really clean home. No, I do have. My home is pretty clean. Yeah. But I would probably be like more hermit-like. Yeah. Because I kind of gravitate toward that. I gravitate toward home, but I don't necessarily like. One of my core desired feelings is hygge, and that is like that's a Danish concept, right? So it's and I actually just adopted this beginning of the year. So our core desired feelings can change and shift. I was feeling a pull toward home, but it's not just home. It's like creating an environment that you're happy with. Creating the small moments that mean a lot. And so I have this tendency towards this home thing, but if I didn't have my core desired feelings, I would just like be home all the time and never go see my friends or invite my friends over or whatever, because I didn't really understand myself enough. Right. And I just wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing. I wouldn't be connecting with people in the way that works for me. And feels good to me, because I have a tendency to sort of be like kind of back off, and not put myself out there. Right. But now I can put myself out there in a way that works for me.
Right. That's amazing. That's awesome. So what's your life like now? Like, just kind of describe for me a little bit more about how your business fits into your life now, and like what your friends think, what your family thinks. What have other people noticed?
My family is always like rooting for me and super proud of me. My husband just wants me to do things that make me happy. He doesn't even care. He's like, I don't care if you do a business. I just want you to be happy. Like, you can, whatever you do. My friends, some of them, have done this with me, right? Like, I've led them through it, and they are like totally on board. They think it's like the most amazing thing, that everybody should like hear about it and know about it. And they're rooting for me and giving me, will be, when I do another group work, I think the group work is really, it's really where it's at. They'll be referring people definitely to it. And the changes that maybe the things that they notice, a little more confidence, a little more, but also like laid back, right? Like, not aloof, but like this is me, this is what I do. And, it's kind of a take it or leave it kind of a thing. And so how my business fits into my life, I'm not a very organized person. So, that's like one goal I have, is to be a little more like, sort of like regimented. I want to be more that way. I think I would even get more done. But yeah, mostly I get into my little office here in our guest room, and get some things done during the day. I only spend maybe, 3 or so hours, on work a day. I have to take my daughter to school every day and pick her up. This summer is going to look a lot different, but I'm in charge of the school run and, grocery shopping, and, so, because my husband works sometimes, he's gone for 72 hours right now. And so I just kind of squeeze it in when I can, but it's usually in the morning. And then social media constantly. Yeah. I could probably use a little detox in that area.
A little boundary setting.
But when ideas come to you and things like, I have to share stuff like right away. If I'm thinking of it, I gotta do it, or it's like gone. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I have my group, and I share natural living stuff. I share, like I said, desire map, process, core desired feeling process. And like I shared that, last night, and what I've been going through. So, and what I plan to do to be proactive. Yeah.
Cool. So like, what are the things that like, what's your like deeply rooted why? Like why, like what are the things that really matter to you that, and even before this, were you like, did you have a 9 to 5? Were you more of a stay at home, or like, did you what was kind of going on for you before that? Like,
so I always knew when I had my daughter or when I had children that I wanted to be home for them.
Yeah.
And be with her. But like right away, it wasn't like I don't know. I just like right away I had this idea to help people with really like the natural living stuff was first.
Yeah.
And with actually some foods, to help their health with food. Mm-hmm. And then that has morphed and transformed. And that was like literally because I was going to go back to work, but super part-time. Mm-hmm. Like only when, my mother-in-law could watch my daughter or my husband could stay home, mm-hmm. could be home. So when we realized that wasn't really going to be viable, we're just like, he's like, I always intended for you to be home and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I had this like pull, so I wanted to share things. So I had this like almost uncontrollable urge to like share what's in my brain and what I've learned and share my resources.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to like stop myself on social media because I'm like, I'll just kind of just give people either too much information or just like, I don't want to get into this right now. And I just won't say anything, I've had to really kind of reassess and pull back a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I just have this like uncontrollable urge. Like when I see people who like have maybe a gap in their understanding or experience that they haven't experienced something that I have, mm-hmm. I like want to share it with them so that they know that they have this resource available to them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the resource. It's the, there's something different out there, right? Like whether it's this resource or whether it's other resources or whatever, but it's like just creating awareness for people that life doesn't have to be like this, right? Mm-hmm. Or that yes. you're missing like a major piece and there's so much richness underneath that, right? Like, yeah, I totally get that. Mm-hmm. I totally get that. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Awesome. So is there anything else like you kind of want to share about your, just the journey from like pre-business to deciding to do the business to launching the business to like, having the business support your life and not the other way around? Like, is there any maybe key messages or that you would want to tell other people, other entrepreneurial women or that are on the cusp of building their business, or maybe they don't even feel like it's possible to like do a business in a way that is simple for them or that is in the flow with their life, right? Because I think that is probably the biggest objection that, not objection, I should say, but belief level, right? Like that limiting belief that it's not possible. And I think it absolutely is. But is there anything else that you would want to share with people?
Turn on that resourceful state and the resources will come to you. Yeah. Go looking for, ask yourself, don't say I can't do it or I don't know how to do it. Like ask yourself, how can I make it work?
Yeah. Yeah. And how is it possible for me, right? Like how can it be possible for me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, reach out to other people, mm-hmm. reach out, because you will find others who are like you or who have been there that you can, that can help you. I know I worked with I taught like a little session and, afterwards these women came up to me and they're like, I felt like you were like speaking directly to me. I've been going through this XYZ for so long and, now I have kind of like hope. Mm-hmm. But this person, if they weren't being resourceful and they weren't there, they would have never gotten that,
right.
That message.
Yeah.
So just being open, and resourceful, and like just kind of go out and like look for stuff. Yeah.
I love it.
And the right come to you.
Yeah, I love it. And again, like just the example that you gave there is really like you showed up and shined and delivered messages that you wanted to deliver, and then there was somebody in the room that heard that and could resonate with it. Generally, like, you know, we don't say what's on our mind and we don't talk about what we stand for. That's just like an example of show up and shine, and you'll get the results that you desire in life. And it's really about attracting those people into your network and your community, and maybe eventually serving them if they want to be served, you know, by you. Or just even creating that tribe in that community. So I think that's beautiful.
Or, I mean, if I can inspire just someone to be resourceful on their own.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, go out and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And making that impact. Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. Well, so we can find you at fifthtelement.com.
Fifthelementwellness.com.
Thank you. Yeah. Fifthelementwellness.com. That's awesome. Chrissy, I just really want to thank you for doing this interview with me. It's awesome. Like, I love your story. I love how you do have, a beautiful, simple business with, you know, frameworks kind of attached to it, and that you work it into your life and that it supports the life that you want. And I love that. So thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate you having me.